Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee. Look at that coffee cup. That's ridiculous. We are off on the road celebrating Paige's 25th birthday tomorrow. Woohoo! 25, quarter of a century. Boy, she's old. You kidding? She's a baby. All right. Lots of feedback yesterday, which I love. Tons of feedback about Fairview, which was my dream the other night about how am I going to go about setting up a community. I want to just stress everybody's got their own ideas and everybody's going to have to participate. You're going to have no choice. When the system falls apart, you're going to have to put things back together on your own. Cliff called them SOCs, self-organizing collective, not collectives, communities, SOCs, S-O-C-S. And that, I think that's very much what's going to happen when we lose faith and trust in our elected officials, because we know every one of them to the bone is corrupt beyond belief. Otherwise, you wouldn't win the election. So we are going to have to kind of rethink how we put together our living situation. It's going to be chaotic, but I would like to stress this. A lot of people are sending me a lot of information, and I love it. In all of it, there is going to be a push, a inclination to go full on socialist, where everybody is contributing the same and everybody gets the same rewards from what you're contributing and things like that. That has been shown throughout history not to work at all. It sounds great that everybody makes the same and everybody participates. The problem is those who participate the most, those who work the hardest, should get the majority of the, or should get a larger share of the rewards. And because it incentivizes that type of behavior. The smart ones, the ones who work the hardest, who get the most done, should get the reward for that. And the ones who are lazy and sit on their ass should not be sharing in the rewards. And that's the big problem. And that's what the socialists are trying to do now, is to destroy capitalism through the destruction of the small businesses. And basically all those customers are going to the big mega corporations. You know, why was Costco open when they're shutting everybody else down? Why was, Amazon obviously took over the world when it comes to ordering stuff. So that was part of the plan of this whole thing, was to destroy the small businesses, especially restaurants and bars where people talk and be social with each other and share ideas and share common insight into the criminality within our government. So just keep in mind that the inclination is to run to socialism, where everybody shares everything. And it has been proven time and time again that that's not the way to go. It is not the way to go. So I just want to throw that out there. A lot of people had sent me Michael Tellinger's site, One Small Town Will Change the World. Yeah, I like it. You know, he's really thinking practically. The problem to me always is, and I, in the few videos I saw, he's talking about socialism, which leads us down a really bad path. Maybe I haven't fully understood it, and I'm sure everybody who's into this is going to say, no, Bix, you just don't understand. Probably don't, because I only looked at it a couple videos. But anyway, again, it might look socialist. I mean, especially the creative destruction event of destroying the old monetary system. They're going to have to reallocate money, and who gets what and why. And that's going to be a real interesting exercise. Who gets what and why. And I don't think everybody should get, should a little kid get the same amount as a guy who worked his whole life, that has, blood, sweat, and tears in the entire system his whole life? Should they get the same? Should it be based on age, based on what they had before, based on what the hell are we going to do? Alan Greenspan's idea way back when was, this is according to the Road to Rooter theory, was to allocate the new money according to Social Security balances. Therefore, those who have paid in the most so far should get the most of the new money. And then you have, FDIC insurance. Will the federal government honor that? Will the federal government even be in charge of money anymore? I don't know. Will the banking system stay intact? I don't think that was the plan. I think it was more of a plan to change the national money system in the United States, at least, to work out of the post offices. And they were setting up post offices to do just that, to act as, kind of a federal bank until we get some kind of free market thing going after these banks are destroyed. Yes, the banks will be destroyed. So it's kind of like, there's a lot of things to think about, but the key thing, don't fall for the socialist trap. Don't think that everybody should get equal share of everything, because that is not a path to a sustainable, excellent way of life. That is a path to destruction. The people who don't want to work won't work because they don't need to work. But that is the way we're going. That's the way this war is being fought towards that end. And we'll see what happens. But we move on. But this is Michael Tellinger's site, One Small Town. It's called Ubuntu Contributism. Just look up on YouTube Michael Tellinger and you'll find some of his videos. Great production. One Small Town is called. If we go to YouTube, let's take a look.
Not long ago, Rita Levi Montalcini celebrated her 103rd birthday, and then
it's beautifully produced videos.
Hello, I'm Michael Tellinger, and I'm the founder of the Ubuntu Liberation Movement. Welcome to the launch of our new strategy and plan of action, which we call One Small Town Can Change the World.
I love that, he's actually doing something. He's not just thinking about it. We're all going to actually have to do something in the coming months and years, which is interesting because some people don't want to do it, but you'll be forced to do it. You'll be forced to interact with your community and rebuild what we lose. And remember, we're losing a really bad system that we were debt slaves and under the control of some very evil people. But it's not easy to restart. And there'll be people like this who come out and say, hey, here's a way. And I've been thinking about this and doing it for the past 20 years and things like that. And it's great if it helps you at the time, but don't fall into the socialist trap. Let's hear a little more of this.
So what is our plan? First, we find a small town of around 5,000 people who want to participate in their own makeover, their own salvation, their own rescue mission. Then we find consensus between the people, the mayor, and the council. We identify the special skills and talents of the people. We identify the industrial and environmental potential of the town. Then we develop a razor-sharp business plan for a variety of community projects to match these skills and individual potential. These projects are actually meticulous.
Really cool stuff. And they've been thinking a lot about it, but I haven't found the video yet that talks about not falling into the socialist trap. I did find in these videos how to get rid of capitalism. Capitalism, it's interesting because it's got an evil tone to it to the liberals. But for me, it's a way to preserve liberty and to promote the very best in human beings. Meaning that if you're the best at what you do, you should be paid to compensate and for that. And the crony capitalism is a different thing. And the capitalism we have today, where it's banks are guaranteed to get their profits, no problem in capitalism, but the losses are all socialized and given to everybody else. That's a problem. That's not capitalism. And we don't live in a capitalist world. And capitalism does not have a Federal Reserve system in it to control the value of money, because money is the basis for what you are trading off your work and your time and your effort for. And when you have an entity such as the Federal Reserve, who I love and hate, as you know, right now they're giving what, over $1.2 trillion in overnight reverse repos. I mean, that's just fraud. And that was actually written in the sand when Ruta was writing down, in 2007 comics, she wrote down 9/11. In the 1981 comics, she was writing down an economic formula called On the Road to the Golden Age, where the best way to get back, it was from the 1960s. It did not win a Nobel Prize or whatever the prize was, but the guy who invented it was on the board. So it was so good, they didn't want to tell anybody about it. It was how to go back to, when you've been off a gold standard, to go back onto a gold standard. And no, we did not have a gold standard in the 1960s. It was a modified gold standard from Bretton Woods, and everything is rigged. That's the key takeaway here is everything is rigged, and it has gotten us to where we are now, a perverted form of capitalism that is not allowed to fail. They're going to be continuing to buy stocks and bonds until the last second. That is exactly what Ruta wrote in the sand, print money to infinity. And you can tell they are doing that with the repo market, the amount of money they print that they don't tell anybody about. I mean, we're just seeing stuff, that looks crazy. Imagine what they don't tell you about. The secret space program, who funds it, how they get that money. They just created it out of thin air. There's no accounting system for that. There's no need to. It's a faith-based currency, faith, and that's what's going to be lost. Anyway, go check it out, Michael Tellinger. But always keep in mind, socialism is a surefire way to destruction. All right. Speaking of destruction, they are sitting on a silver price. The 8 commercials have the shortest short position ever. They're trying to get out before the end happens, and then who knows what happens to the price of silver. Yes, they can click a mouse and it can go to zero. Same with every single crypto out there. They can click a mouse and drive the price to zero and then shut down markets. That's why it's so important to have your cryptos, have your silver in your own possession only. Don't have buy orders on the crash, because you will lose them. There's nothing that will survive the collapse of a single too big to fail bank. And there are multiples failing right now. That's why the repo markets, the reverse repo markets, is over $1 trillion. If it wasn't, we would have too big to fail banks failing over and over and over again. Nothing survives that. Not one crypto exchange will survive that. So do not have any amount of assets in these crypto exchanges or in any third-party silver holdings. You should be in charge of your own silver. Gold, if you're crazy enough to own gold, swap it for silver now. All right, just to show you how much on the brink we are, I looked at Zero Hedge first time in a while. It's like everything is, they're pretty, they deal with that type of stuff anyway, but everything is falling apart. Everything doesn't make sense. I can't talk about the first thing here that you can see. Yes. But the rest of it, the FTC refiles Facebook antitrust lawsuit. Yes, all social media we should have cease and desist orders on all social media right now because of their censorship. We are not allowed to talk about things that are so important to humanity because they are on a very evil path. And they should you don't have to end Facebook or end Twitter or end YouTube. What you need to do is remove the criminals within senior management, replace them with a board of some kind or something. But definitely remove the deciders that this way going forward, a complete and total censorship of all these important issues is the worst thing that can happen. Remember, you funded it with your tax dollars. You funded Facebook, you funded YouTube, you funded Twitter. All of them came from the CIA investment arm. There's a few different investment arms, but that's where they got their funding. And from DARPA, the military's DARPA has been deeply involved with all social media, and it's being used against free Americans. So you should scream about this. And luckily, it looks like something's happening, at least on the Facebook side. Why should we believe anything? True. Excellent. Gordon Johnson harps on the Tesla broken promises. ahead of AI day. Yeah, Tesla. I mean, Amy loves her Tesla. I don't know what to say. She loves it. It's a great car. I've driven it. It's an amazing invention. But the things that Elon says is going to happen, I have a down payment on a Tesla truck that he said, oh yeah, I'll be delivered this year. I'm not even getting my RV this year, much less my Tesla truck. So Elon's an interesting case. You know, he knows a lot. He knows that his future completely relies on the price of silver. So he's all into either getting silver futures contracts so he can continue to run his business for a couple more years, or keeping it out of the hands of the people. Not sure about good old Elon. I love and hate him. I would not drive in a self-driving car though. That technology is not there, and it's just not only are you gonna probably have problems, with your own mortality when it comes to that, but you could easily kill other people. And I've seen pictures of people in the back seat sleeping while their Tesla car drives down the highway at 70 miles an hour. That technology is not there yet. It is not there yet. So that's all I have to say. Anyway, Morgan Stanley saying the shit's about to blow up. This is for the cards that you can fill out yourself, but you're not allowed to. They'll arrest you. Capitol Hill evacuated amid active bomb threat. There will be a lot of these coming up to 9/11, a whole lot of them. So get ready for some crazy stuff to go down. I think Cliff has his next big thing that happened the end of this weekend. So we will see. Industrial metals plunge accelerates amid global growth scare. They're probably going to use that to say, that's why silver went down. It's an industrial metal. It's all bullshit. It's a lie. Nothing on the stock market, the bond market, the commodity markets moves because of amid a global growth scare. That's got nothing to do with it. It's a click of a mouse at the U.S. Treasury. The U.S. Treasury basement has a computer trading floor. They trade the vast majority of the important things. For example, the US dollar, stocks, bonds, and of course, commodities. So industrial metals, it should say industrial metals plunge because Janet Yellen's flunky clicked a mouse in the basement of the US Treasury. That's all it should say. Stock panic bid back to unchanged after ugly overnight session. So stocks start to crash. The midnight crew in the Treasury, who works 24/7, click the mouse and boom, stock market's back. That's the world we live in now. So a whole lot of stuff, everything pointing towards the end of the world as we know it. Hang in there. The classic. This is a classic example of the news media saying something that has nothing to do with it, but they have to have a reason why the stock market fails, why Bitcoin's volatile. They have to have a reason. The reason is they're clicking a mouse in the basement of the Treasury, the basement of the New York Fed, and at the bullion banks, the Exchange Stabilization Fund. I think that works out of the basement of the Fed, New York. Anyway, gold volatility will drive investors back to gold, or Bitcoin volatility will drive investors back to gold, says mining firm chairman. These gold bugs are idiots. I hate to tell you, if you're strictly gold bug, you're really not getting what the hell's going on. First of all, there's massive amounts of gold. Gold bugs hate it when I say that. There's millions of tons of gold, not 200,000 tons of gold. There's millions of tons of gold. So that should factor into your equation. But also, what's gold good for? Store value. They've taken it out of money since the 1930s. So it's not money. It's a store of value. But if your store of value is all of a sudden you find out there's 10 times as much as you thought there was, or the world was told, what will that do to your store of value? I think gold will still go up because there's massively more versions of the US dollar that are being printed. But these people who say that cryptos are too volatile, so everybody's going to flood into gold and silver, are not understanding what's happening. We are transitioning into a high-tech world. And that high-tech world needs massive amounts of silver. And we are transitioning out of the fiat monetary system into a new form of money. Gold and silver will be part of it, maybe, but not the main focus. cryptocurrencies will be the main focus. You cannot take gold and silver as money into space, for example. It's too damn heavy. You can take cryptos anywhere in the universe, and we are headed to the universe. All those things they're hiding from us, they're still hiding. So that's what's going on there. And it said in here, really funny, wild swings in cryptocurrencies will eventually drive Bitcoin investors to return to gold, says the executive chairman of a gold mining firm, Evolution Mining. He clearly doesn't understand what cryptos are, but they have this in here. Gold prices fell last week, and analysts say they will likely drop further. What analyst is saying when we're printing more money than God ever thought he could create? What analyst would ever say that gold prices will drop because of, and so I clicked on it, and here's the analyst. Gold prices dropped this week, and analysts predict they will keep falling. Analysts peg the fall to a stronger than expected U.S. jobs report, as well as a rush to buy the dollar in response. That's insane. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And here's the analyst, the UBS guy. It's ridiculous. They just got to invent this stuff. Gold dropped because a guy in the basement of the U.S. Treasury clicked a mouse. That's it. That's all you have to say. And that's all that's happening. Cryptos are pretty much flat. Nothing exciting happening. It will be. It'll be volatile, so you better run into gold. The reality of Bitcoin is I've been in it since 2012. I don't own any Bitcoin right now. Actually, Bitcoin kind of shot itself in the foot when it decided to be a store of value instead of a means of exchange. But that was great for humanity. It's a great thing because all these altcoins came up, and we do need different coins for different things. Look at the use case. If it's a cryptocurrency like Litecoin or Bitcoin Cash, yeah, they got to be decentralized. They have to be useful, things like that. Bitcoin will always be a store of value. I don't think it'll be the best store of value, but it will always be a store of value. And Litecoin, there's exciting things going on at Litecoin as a means of exchange. Same with Bitcoin Cash. I think Bitcoin Cash in Asia is going to be monster. And of course, there's a hell of a lot more people in Asia than there is in the United States. Just keep that in mind. But I do own Litecoin. I do own. Somebody had asked me, a buddy of mine asked me my top 5 picks, and I write this down. I said heavily weighted in Theta and Theta Fuel, like massively weighted, because I think they are the best of all the cryptos. But they have a use case, and they have all kinds of use cases, truthfully. But I said Theta, T Fuel, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Veritasium as your lottery ticket. And then throw in some hollow chain hot for the future. So those are my 6 tops. Everybody has their favorites though, but I think those, a portfolio with those, you get it, you stick it in your on your Trezor, and you just wait. And that's what, anybody who did that with Bitcoin in 2012 is looming large, right? They're buying Bitcoin at a couple $100. And now look at it, and it's not going to stop. The volatility is part of cryptocurrencies. If you want your investment to just stay where it was, invest in gold. If you want your investments if you have the stomach for a 90% drop, at the same time you get a 5,000% return, do that. But don't freak out when it drops 90%, as it always does, because they click the mouse. All right. New data suggests Bitcoin could see BTC price in the double bubble top in 2021. I do think we're going to see another run in the cryptos after this chaos, or during this chaos, and then a quick slam down, and then another run. Just be prepared to just wait it out. That's all you got to do, is wait it out. I think by the end of the year, we're looking at $100,000 Bitcoin, which a couple of years ago, I was being told I was crazy when I was supporting Cliff High's data that said we're going to have $100,000 Bitcoin parties. It just got delayed a little because Donald Trump, Steve Mnuchin, and the head of the CFTC decided to stop the Bitcoin rise in 2018. And they did it using the Mt. Gox Bitcoin, along with other methods. Chris Giancarlo, the head of the CFTC at the time, even admitted it later. that they had to stop the Bitcoin price. So yes, your government is fighting against your investment analysis. Believe it or not. Okay. We are not going to do a Jenny Moonstone reading today. She called me this morning and says she's in a fight with her school board. They're trying to mandate masks a week in. She's in Florida, a week and a half into the school, and now they're trying to mandate it, even though the governor said no, I'll defund anybody who mandates school. It's insane. It's insane. And she's fighting the fight on the ground. She loves to fight the fight on the ground. So she'll be back next week. Good luck to Jenny Moonstone in her battle against the evil cabal. All right. That's all I got for you today. Hang in there. Happy birthday to Paige. 25 tomorrow. 25 tomorrow. Woohoo. Go on to Instagram on road to Ruta and wish her a happy birthday. Instagram. All right. And make sure it's the right one, because there's a bunch of phonies out there too. There's so many phony websites on Road to Ruta, and that's why I don't have comments in my YouTube section. And we just got to keep fighting the fight. And if you're a criminal, you're going to pay for it in various ways in the future. Hopefully. Anyway, this is Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. I'll talk to you later.